Let's go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us at our Career Expo webinar. This is Own Your Awesomeness by our very own Paresh Shah. We're really excited to have him here. Just a quick introduction to him before I let him take over. He's an experienced entrepreneur. He's the founder of and CEO of Los Angeles-based Glimpulse, which is a human expression company. And I'm sure he's going to talk a little bit more about that himself. So I'll give that to him. He's been an executive coach for over 20 years, and he blends traditional business approaches from his Harvard MBA training with mindfulness and creativity. He has some great energy from him, great vibes from him. So I'm super excited that he's going to be presenting this webinar from us. Paresh, thank you so much. Please take it away. They're all yours.
Welcome, and thanks to everyone at the Fulfillment Fund for allowing me the opportunity to share with all of you. So let's jump right in. When you get a Slurpee and you go to the machine and you put that little lid on top and you pull the handle, and all of a sudden the Slurpee just goes whoop and just fills up the cup and starts oozing out all over the place. We have fun with it with my kids, and it's kind of fun. And you take the cup and you lick it and you clean it up, and then you go back out. So what I wanted to do today was basically fill your Slurpee cup up. You're going to learn a lot today. I'm going to share what I can to help you with your careers, with your progress, and basically your well-being and happiness in your journey as young adults. And you don't need to maintain everything. You don't need to remember anything. All I ask is, just if you get a lick and you get a little taste of what I'm here to share, and it helps you fulfill what you're trying to create in your life, that's what I'm here to do. So, just enjoy and, load up the chat if you can, with any questions or thoughts, and we will take it from there and slurp away. Let's throw in the first poll just for fun and get you guys warmed up. What is your favorite Slurpee flavor? Go ahead and fill in your poll right now. What do you guys think the answer is going to be? What's your favorite Slurpee flavor? And then, guys, you want to show us the results when you have enough? Coke, wild cherry, Mountain Dew, blue raspberry. I don't like Slurpees because they give me brain freeze. I only go to Slurpees for free day on the free days, so I don't care what flavor it is because it's free, or I'll do anything for a brain freeze. Any results, Gus? There we go. Coca-Cola, wild cherry, and a lot of people go on the free day. Who knows what the free day is? Type it in the chat. What day is the free day to get Slurpees? All right. So what I want you all to do next is I want you to tell me who's awesome. What I'd like you to do is take your little thumbs up and put your little thumbs up in, or type in the chat, I'm awesome. Who's awesome? Me. Jose is the first. I'm going to send you a Slurpee, Jose. Make sure you connect with Gus so I can get you a gift certificate for 7-Eleven. All right, we're awesome. Now, what I'm hoping is that every one of you would say, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. That's what I would like you to take away from this. Okay, is owning your awesome. And being awesome does not mean that or saying you're awesome does not mean that you're arrogant. It doesn't mean that you're, stuck up or anything like that. If you look at this airplane wing, I was an aerospace engineer when I went to college, and the wing basically has this structure, this strength and structure, and it also has flexibility, and you need both in order to fly. And so owning your awesome doesn't mean you're arrogant. You can be humble and awesome at the same time, because the reason you're awesome is most likely due to other people who inspired you into that awesome, who basically mentored you, coached you, supported you, pushed you into what makes you awesome that you're owning. And so there's a humility in that, knowing it's not all you. You've had your parents, and you've even had bad experiences that have led you to what makes you awesome to own. So you can be humble and you can be awesome at the same time. And being grateful and having gratitude for the gifts that you have is always a good way to stay humble. And sharing your gifts, sharing your awesome will help your awesome keep growing. So When we talk about owning your awesome, it can be a variety of things. It can be, what are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your passions? What do you love? What's your unique perspective on the world? What are some worlds that you know that most people don't know based on the communities you've been involved in, the activities you've been involved in? What are your superpowers? Who's got some superpowers? Cooking. Brian's cooking. There we go. So before we get into having you guys share what some of your awesome capabilities are, I'm going to just share with you a bit of where I'm coming from and how I'm here to share with you. When I was young, I loved fixing stuff and building stuff. And I was very curious as a kid, and I loved playing, just playing with blocks and just building things. I also loved performing. I was in drama. I was in speech and debate. I was a crack up, and if it made my mom laugh, then it was even better. I love music. I play guitar, and I just love music. I love rock and roll. I'm a metalhead, and I love rock and roll. And these were all things that I loved. And I actually didn't consider myself very spiritual or mindful back then either. So I never considered performance, music, or this other question mark aspects of my awesome that I could bring to the world in service. So I kept those things separate from the main thing I understood, which is I like fixing things and I like building things. So, if you are, I'm a son of Indian immigrants, and if you're a son of Indian immigrants, then you pretty much have two choices. You'll be a doctor or an engineer or a businessman, I guess. So those were my choices. I chose not to be a doctor. And a lot of my parents' friends were small business owners, and I enjoyed business. I love building things. And so through that, I started off as an engineer, as I said, when I went to college. And after that, I got my MBA and studied business and kind of put the two together to build some companies along the way. So owning your awesome so you can be of service to people is really what I want you to embrace here today and as you move forward in your career. And so if you look at those four areas that to me were very separate aspects, and I discounted the pink, the blue, and the orange bubble for most of my life. Later, and probably let's say 20, 30 years, frankly, and I focused on that engineer and business person. And what I realized was I could have much earlier integrated those other aspects of my awesome that I enjoyed, that gave me passion, that gave me energy. And so today, what I do is I am a leadership coach and a business trainer. I coach CEOs and executives all over the world, which is really exciting because I can help them be better leaders so that their employees, their talent, their customers can actually have a better experience and lives can be better. When it comes to performance and drama and things like that, I didn't think I could use that. That was like an artsy thing. Well, today, actually that's on the coaching side. Today, I'm a keynote speaker and an inspirational speaker, and I actually get paid really well to speak at conferences, whether it's on Zoom or in live settings. I've spoken to over 3,500 people in one setting, and I've spoken all over the world, 5 continents, and I've been to 52 countries. I didn't think that was going to be part of my awesome that I could bring into service. I wasn't mindful before. I wasn't spiritual before. I thought it was all about me and my smarts, and I was gifted with being kind of smart academically. And so I thought, with my smarts, I can do anything. And then later on in life, I realized, there's more to that. There's a lot more to that. And so I became very mindful and spiritual and became a yoga teacher. I'm actually a minister. And I actually, teach wisdom and things like that about, what's it take to have a life that works for you. Again, I didn't think that would be, part of my awesome that I would actually be making a living off of and serving the world out of. And when it comes to music, I was like, well, it's music. I don't know what I'll do with that. Well, I'm now a band member and I'm in a rock band. So these 4 aspects of my awesome have come together: leadership, coaching, and being a trainer around how do you have great organizations, being a speaker, bringing mindfulness, and I love music. So today, what I hope to do is bring all of my awesome together, or some of it at least. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I have 4 kids, but bring these 4 aspects of my awesome in service to you, to help you all. And so what I hope to do today is inspire you a little through my sharing, give you some cutting edge thinking around leadership and what it means to be a cutting edge worker today and a cutting edge employee, which is very different than the way we grew up and the way we thought, our parents worked. It's very different. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 mindfulness techniques to help you, de-stress, things like that. And maybe I'll give you a glimpse of some music if we have some time. So now let's get ready to put in the chat. What makes you awesome? Okay, put it in the chat. What makes you awesome? What gives you joy? What gives you energy? What do you do where all of a sudden time just gets blurred and you get lost in time? And what's of service to other? Hit me up in the chat. Let's fill up our Slurpee cup. Let's fill up our chat with comments. What makes you awesome? Let me see what you got in chat. Music and cooking, being positive. There you go. Animation, Veronica. Empathy is one of the greatest things. We're going to talk about that in a second. Compassion and empathy are one of the key magic powers you need these days. Tenacity, games, Overwatch, chess, integrity. Jeff, I love it. Integrity is key. Key, especially these days. We're going to talk about that. Drawing and painting. Love it. Keep filling up my Slurpee cup of what makes you awesome. We're going to fill up that chat with that. So these are the 4 areas that we're going to be exploring today. And what I want you to remember, if there's any one thing today, the one thing, own your awesome. Own your awesome. Find out what it is that moves you, that delights you, that gives you energy, and own it, and cultivate it, and just do it and do it and do it. And when you combine it with other things that make you awesome, that unique combination, in my case, it's kind of unique to have someone who's a Harvard MBA and a speaker and a yoga teacher and minister and a guitarist in a rock band. However, those things come together and I can serve my clients and serve, people in owning my awesomeness. So with that, Joshua, positive. Yeah. Migueli, love to work with kids. Super important. All right. So own your awesome. That's the one thing I want you to take away. Okay. Own your awesome. So now I'm going to shift into some leading edge, cutting edge ways of being a leader, being an employee, being talent for the best companies today. I've been to 52 countries and we teach companies all over the world. How do you have a great culture? How do you have productivity? How do you have customers that love you? How do you have talent that loves working and isn't just putting in their hours and going home because they don't really give a crap? And the cutting edge way of seeing leadership is what we call being a lifter leader. And if you can just embrace a couple of these mind shifts I'm about to share with you today, your career is going to be a stand apart from most people who are actually going through life and through the world with an old model, the way that our parents grew up of like, you got to work your ass off and just work for the man and you get paid. And one day you'll retire and then you can play guitar. No, the world's different now. And companies are understanding they got to show up for the people who want to drive their purpose, and those people who have compassion, empathy, listening, who want to co-create, who are there to serve others. This is the new mindset, which is actually very different than the way it's been. So what's a lifter? A lifters are everyday evolved leaders who lift their coworkers, their customers, their community, and their company performance, and they do it on purpose. So it doesn't mean that you're just like, a kumbaya, happy, positive clown all the time. No, anyone can be a lifter. Anyone can learn to be a lifter, and you do it on purpose. You show up in a way that you actually lift everyone's environment and everyone's experience. So there are 4 lifter mind shifts that are happening in the world right now. And these shifts due to pandemic have accelerated. I'm going to, speed you through these and just, give you a little glimpse. And when I call them mind shifts, they're not mindsets. We cannot be set in our ways. We have to be evolving, dynamic human beings because the world is moving super galactically fast. And so how do we shift with the times and show up, which is at the center The center mind shift is show up with your awesome. Show up with the whole human of who you are and receive others as the whole humans that they are. Respect them, invite them into the conversation, especially if they're different. This is what companies today need, and they're realizing they need this. So there are 4 mind shifts. And before I take you through them, I'm going to tell you a bit about what a mind shift is. When I and my family and my 4 kids and I moved out to California about 10 years ago, I always I wanted to surf. I thought it'd be super cool to surf. I used to watch surfing on a little TV, a black and white TV, back in Baltimore, where I grew up after coming here from India. And, you know, it's ABC Wide World of Sports. Here we are in SoCal for the Surfing Federation competition. And to me, that was epic. It's like, wow, to walk on water. How cool would that be? And so when we moved out here, I was like, yeah, I want to learn to surf. So I went to Costco and I got myself, you know, one of those big $90 boards. And I went out to the beach and I raced in the water. I'm paddling and getting crushed by the waves. And like, I'm going to get out beyond those waves. I want to get to that new world out there where there are dolphins and where are surfers and where there's just nature. And it's something I've never done before. So I'd paddle and I'd get crushed. I'd paddle, I'd try to go under, I'd get crushed. So weeks and weeks went by and I'm trying to get to that new world out there where that magic is. And I was getting destroyed, getting hurt, getting beaten, getting bruised. And the local surfers who've grown up here in California, I'm sure a lot of you are local, I could kind of hear their inner dialogue going, look at the new dude out there, you know, it's getting mangled. What a dumbass. Finally, one compassionate surfer dude came up to me one day. He goes, hey, Paresh. I'm like, hey, what's up? Can I give you some advice? I'm like, yeah, totally. I see you're trying to get out there and you're getting beaten up. I'm like, yeah. What's up? I was like, well, I'm trying to get out there. And when we moved out here, you know, we were told that, you know, rip currents, rip tides are really dangerous. So we told our kids, stay out of the rip tide, stay out of the rip current. It's dangerous. You know, you should be afraid of it. The ocean is a very powerful thing. And so I'm trying to get out there. And what this guy said was, dude, you have to unlearn what you're afraid of. And you actually have to use the rip currents to get out beyond the turbulence, beyond the waves, beyond getting destroyed. You have to unlearn what you are afraid of. Because I thought rip currents were dangerous, but no, they were my path to get out there. So that was a mind shift I had to do, was to get into that current, to get out there into the waves. And then I was able to surf. So here are the 4 mind shifts. So I had to shift my thinking to get out there of what it means to be a lifter leader. Okay, we've already talked about the first. So there's 4. Serve up. It's all about service. Listen up. Show up. We've talked about that with your awesome. And act up, like take purposeful action. So show up is about not seeing yourself so narrowly defined as, well, I'm an analytical person, so I need to do engineering. I'm a creative person, I should go into visual arts. I'm a people person, I should go into sales. No, look at the whole human of who you are and go, what are all the aspects of my awesomes? Let me own them and see if I can bring them into service. And let me embrace other people's awesomes and invite them in and see if we can co-create something super cool. So that's the center of your superpowers, is showing up with your awesomes. Part of what's happening here that's requiring this shift is that a whole new world is being created. And COVID actually accelerated something that was already in process. A lot of people are like, oh, Paresh, you know what? A whole new world. That's very Disney and Aladdin-esque, you know, whole new world. I'm like, no, actually, whole new worlds have been created multiple times before. Let's just go back in time and take a look. There was a time when we were all farming every day, what was called subsistence farming. And we'd pray to God that every day our family would have enough food to eat because we'd be farming on our family farm. And then some pioneers, some forward-looking thinkers said, well, maybe there's a different way. And they started rotating crops. They started watching weather patterns. They started hybridizing seeds. And they created the agricultural revolution. And for the first time ever in the history of humanity, humans could eat at scale. The idea of an all-you-can-eat buffet at Olive Garden was like not even an idea for most humans, and now we take it for granted. So that totally changed the world. A whole new world was created where humans could do something different than farm all day. And so people started moving to the cities and specializing. And then a new set of pioneers said, wait a minute, something's happening. Instead of building these cars one at a time, why don't we build a big line? And you know what? Miguel is going to put the steering wheel on all of them. And Joshua is going to, put the transmission on. And people thought they were crazy. They're like, what are you thinking? Let's use steam power. Let's use motion time studies to get productivity going. And the people who saw what was coming, that a whole new world was coming, where you could make things, make product, move ideas, move people, basically were the rock stars of the planet. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, Vanderbilt, they ran the planet. Whole new world was created where you could have stuff, move stuff. Then, information age. There were a bunch of people who were on the fringe, pioneers. They were called nerds and geeks. I'm a nerd, I was an engineer. And people are like, wow, what are these people talking about? Computers, and they're kind of pasty, and they operate in these weird circles talking about weird stuff we don't understand. However, the companies that understood something was happening and a new world was being created, embraced those people and their awesome, their passions, what gave them energy, and they cut them loose to go, you know what? What can we do with this new thing called a computer, this new thing called a mobile phone? And guess who runs the world now? The geeks and the nerds, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, etc. That was the third major generation, the revolution of humanity, third new world. We're now on the cusp, and we're well within a fourth new world. It's a world defined by compassion, creativity, connection, human connection, cooperation, and community. Empathy is one of the words somebody used. And it's a new era of consciousness. And the new people who are the new rock stars, like the agriculturalists, the industrialists, and the geeks and nerds, are the lifters. The lifters get it. So we are everyday evolved leaders who lift our coworkers, our customers, our community, our company. We're positive, purposeful, authentic, compassionate. And we do it on purpose. A lot of people are waiting for the new normal, waiting for normalcy to return. Well, guess what? Normal is not happening. The world is going to continue to accelerate and change. So what lifter leadership is all about is returning to the new natural. A return to our innate humanity, which is around kindness, service, helping, inspiring, treating people with integrity. When I was at Harvard Business School, we didn't talk this way. When I was at Harvard Business School, we learned to be very effective at hunting for customers, targeting you, capturing you, segmenting you, analyzing you, so we could have our share and not leave any for the competition. That was the prevailing mindset. Predator, prey, victim, victor, transactions. Go get the customers, milk them. No longer. Hunt, target, capture, pursue, transact, maximize. Even being called a consumer is kind of gross. That's the outgoing model. The new model is about cooperation, synthesis, symbiosis, inspiring your coworkers and teams, supporting each other, supporting customers, elevating, serving, and ultimately lifting. This is the new model. Companies are getting this globally, and they're understanding this is how they keep their best workers and how they get loyalty with their customers. So the first, so we talked about the first mind shift. Show up is like the central mind shift. Serve up is about a shift from hunting to attracting, from transacting to serving, from a boss commanding you to do stuff to co-creating. Say, hey, what are you interested in? Let's see if we can find something that works for you with what we need in a way where you're excited about your work. And it's not about competition. It's about cooperating to make the world better and serving customers. So let me give you your first mindfulness technique. Okay, with all these lions and tigers and bears and hunting, let's take a breath. So this technique is a technique to de-stress. A lot of people are super stressed right now. There's been a lot of grief, loss, social disruption, and people are freaking out. So this is a breath. It's called the raspberry breath. You only have to do a couple of them or like a minute or two, and you'll actually chill out. But you won't get a slurpy headache though. Okay, what I want you to do is inhale with your nose and exhale with a raspberry breath. It's kind of funny and fun. Laughter is a good medicine too. Let's do it again. Deep breath in. One more time. How do you feel? Type in the chat. Let's do it again. Give me something. Give me something in the chat. Low key. Better, right? Calm. So this is a very powerful breath. It seems simple. It seems silly, but a lot of people, they don't know how to just chill and get back into their space. You feel awesome, right, Veronica? Here's the biology behind it. Okay. We have a nerve called the vagus nerve. Okay. That nerve turns on and off our fight, flight, freeze response that we've been, since we were cavemen and cave women, bred to have, which is, oh my God, lion, run, food, run towards it, get it. Some kind of, threat from another tribe, freeze. So what happens is that circuit, because of all the stress in the world, because of COVID, pandemic, all the societal disruption, a lot of people's fight or flight circuit is stuck in the up position where you're constantly adrenaline. I'm on alert. Oh my God. And TV is not helping. A lot of social media doesn't help because it's made to get us angry. And so what this breath does is it turns that circuit off so you can chill, because you can't be in high alert mode all the time. And that can cause depression, anxiety, pain, all kinds of things. Good. Let's do another one. Ready? Share this with your friends and family. I'm telling you, it works. 2 minutes and you'll actually feel better because you can turn that circuit off. All right. So first mind shift, serve up, from hunting to serving and attracting. We talked about showing up in your awesome as the centerpiece. Getting back to that service. This is my 77 Nova. It's my baby, 77 Nova Concours. It's my baby. And it gets back to that serve up mind shift. I've been trying to get someone to fix this, make some adjustments to it in SoCal. And I've gone to 8 dealerships. And 7 of them were operating with the old model. You know what? We'll tell them we can fix it. We'll figure it out. Oh, it'll be fine. And then there's something else that's needed and something else that's needed. And it was very frustrating because for them, it's maximizing. They don't know if they're going to see me again. A lot of them don't even know what they're doing, but they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. They're not honest. Someone mentioned honesty. Few of them kept me up to date on what was happening. I'm like, hey, can I get my car back? That's old model, guys. The new model is you treat everyone like you're helping a family member. And so I finally found a mechanic. His name's Jerry. And one of his awesomes is he loves cars and he's super psyched about it. And so he saw my car. He's like, man, this thing is dope. Let me get into this. Let me figure it out. And he saw it as his own car and he cared about it. And he kept me up to date. He's like, I haven't figured out what's happening with your timing yet, Mr. Shaw. I'm going to let you know. And they basically solved my problem. And I've sent them 3 customers already because they've got that service mindset. They're serving up. Okay. So lifter leaders, the people who work as lifters, they're engaged and productive. Customers are satisfied and loyal, and they send you other customers. You can innovate solutions because he's had some issues with my carburetor and he found some solution to fix it. And it creates well-being because everyone's stressed right now globally. We do workshops around the world and people are really stressed right now. And if you have conscious leadership, and you can be a leader, you don't need to have anyone report to you or a budget. You can be a lifter leader as a frontline cashier, as a mechanic, as a call center rep, because you be an example. You would be an example for those around you. Okay. And companies that practice conscious leadership perform 10 times better than others because people care. The workers actually give a crap. They show up. They're not absent. Customers love them and give them more business. They innovate and everybody's happy. So it's the age of consciousness. It's this 4th new world: compassion, creativity, cooperation, community. So here's your second mindfulness technique. What I'd like you to do is let's take a raspberry breath to kind of clear our etch a sketches off. Deep breath in. Exhale. I know I'm going fast, so we're going to chill a little bit. Okay, another one. Okay, so what I want you to do, this is called word watching. When you watch your words, you're able to see where you're coming from, what your mindset is, so that you can be responsive to the world and not reactive. We want to be responsive, not reactive. It can cause a lot of problems in relationships too. Okay, so what I want you to do is repeat after me. And I want you to feel in your body, how does this feel when you repeat the following words, and where do you feel it? And then type it into the chat. Okay, so I want you to repeat after me. I'd like to go on vacation, but I don't have the money. Okay, let's all do it. I'd like to go on vacation, but I don't have the money. One more time. I'd like to go on vacation, but I don't have the money. How does that feel? Type it. Where do you feel it? How does that make you feel in your body? Sad, Shania, exactly, right? How else does it feel? I'd like to go on vacation, but I don't have the money. How does it make you feel? Give me one more in the chat. Who's got something? Poor, helpless, makes you feel upset, not good, right? So now let's take 2 of our raspberry breaths. Really deep breath in. Okay, one more time. I'm going to clear our Etch-a-Sketch, start a new picture. Deep breath in. Okay, what I want you to do now is repeat after me. We're just going to change 2 words and see how you feel, where you feel it, and report back to me. I'd like to go on vacation, and I don't have the money yet. I'd like to go on vacation, and I don't have the money yet. One more time. I'd like to go on vacation, and I don't have the money yet. Tell me how that feels compared to the I'd like to go on vacation, but I don't have the money. Gives you hope. You're determined, hopeful, motivated. There's possibility, okay? More motivated. The words you use shape your possibilities, and how you feel shapes how you show up, okay? So this is your second technique. What I want you to practice is replace the word but with and as much as you can. And sometimes it's very extreme, and it's kind of weird to use and yet instead of but. Try it and see how the solutions start coming at you, that before you're like, oh, I feel constrained. There's no way out. I like to go on vacation, but I don't have the money. I like to get that job, but I don't have a car. I'd like to but. And instead, if you just reframe it, because the way you think and the words you speak, one of the expressions I use with my yoga students is, your tongue is the red carpet of the theater of your life that shows up. And there's a lot of texts in various spiritual traditions that speak to the power of the word, power of your tongue. So watch what you say and replace the but with the and watch how the ideas come, the solutions come. Does that make sense? So you guys reported how it feels. Anyone now have any more thoughts on the and yet as your second mindfulness technique? Joshua, you're more motivated, right? There's more solutions. All right. So serve up. Next one is listen up. This is the most important, powerful, and underused superpower humans have. And I have to say, not out of generalizations or stereotypes, it's out of direct experience, coaching executives and workers all around the world. Generally speaking, without making huge, stereotypes, men suck at listening compared to women. And listening is super important. Okay. So the second mind shift is about a shift from speaking, telling, to listening. A shift from thinking to feeling. That's why I asked you to feel in your body. How does this feel? And a shift from doing and working and striving and blasting people's resumes and to actually being and tuning into those superpowers. This is the most powerful set of skills you can build, is if you can become a great listener, because it's a rare skill, and companies realize the power of listening. So there's 4 types of listening that we teach. I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse of them. The first one is listening in silence. Okay. That's some sort of contemplative practice, some sort of way to just chill, unplug, and just be. Okay. Here's a nice quote I like, which is, listen to the wind, it talks. Listen to the silence, it speaks. Listen to your heart, it knows. So for me, listening in silence could be surfing, because it's just me in the water in nature. It could be praying, it could be meditating, it could be taking a walk with my wife silently. What is listening in silence for you? What do you all do to replenish and recharge so you can show up? That's a contemplative, quiet, meditative thing. Give me some Slurpee in my chat. What do you got? What do you sleep? Sleep is important. Work out. Physical activity is a great way to be mindful. Think. Don't want to overthink, Mahia, but thinking, depending on what you're thinking about and contemplating, yes. If it's in silence or near silence, and you're really just being present to the moment, that can actually give you superpowers. Okay. By the way, here's a little factoid about the Slurpee. Did you know that the Slurpee was invented in 1965, and in 1968, an MIT mechanical aerospace engineer invented the straw with the spoon and patented it. Right? Amazing. Something obvious like that actually made a huge difference, and they're still used today. And he made $1 gazillion out of that. Slurpee also had a music brand, and they had some CDs out there. So it's all kinds of cool stuff. So now we talked about listening in silence. Next is listening to your body. Okay. We do a lot of thinking. Our intellects are over-indexed today. Business dashboards and KPIs, key performance metrics, and all this thinking. I got to do my plan. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for my application to this school. I have to do all these things. That's only one type of intelligence. The others are your heart intelligence and your gut intelligence. And I want you to tune into those two, because they can give you some real data and insight on what the right thing is to do for a customer, for a coworker, for a parent, for a friend. And science shows that different emotions show up as different feelings. And by the way, if you feel shame, you can look like Spider-Man if you want. Listening to others, there's a lot of work on this. The main thing I want to say about listening to others is the word listen has the same letters as the word silent. So listen in a way that others love to speak to you, and just be quiet and listen, hold space for them. And lastly, when you hold space and listen, then you'll feel compelled to speak, and what you say will be helpful. It won't be like, oh, what am I going to say to seem smart? No, what you say will actually resonate with them. And then you'll be able to advocate for your awesome, because you're speaking into their listening. Does that make sense? The last one is act up. I'm not going to focus too much on that, but it's basically about being tactical and doing little detailed actions into things that are transformative, that change the world, change your community, change the people around you. So what I hope I've done is given you a little inspiration, a little bit of leadership insight, so that you can be a lifter leader, which is what companies need today: compassion, purpose, listening, caring, service. Giving you a couple of mindfulness techniques: raspberry breath, but changes to and yet, and listening to your body. And well, I'm not really a band member yet, but I can. I don't have much music to share with you yet, but I'll show you a picture of my costume as Willy Wonka, and then I actually played as Willy Wonka in a band. I don't have the picture here, and it was super fun. So I want to leave you with one thought, getting back to these mind shifts. Own your awesome. Show up in service to others, your family, your friends, your company, your customers, and unlearn what's kept you safe until now, if you're going to go out to where you want to get. And to do that, I want you to own your awesome. Own your awesome. Any questions in the minute or two that we have? And type in the chat if you got any questions. Type in the chat. What's the one thing you got out of this talk? What's the one thing? If you're going to lick the side of the Slurpee and get that little taste of something from this talk, what's the one thing that's going to help you? Type it in the chat. Email. I'll type my email in here, of course. What's the one thing you learned? I love the fact that you're asking me from your email. By the way, one of the things that you can totally do if it's a career expo is when you're applying for jobs, be polite, be timely, do your research, say thank you in an email and write them a personal note. Do your homework. We just did we put a job application out there. We had 250 people apply, and 6 of them did what I asked you to do. 6. So if you are one of those 6, I am going to pay attention to you. Okay. Change but to and. There you go. Going to stop being scared. Be awesome, Abner. Absolutely. Here's my email. Be a lifter leader. If you want to learn more, I'm going to give you my email. You can go to our website, which is liftersrising.com. We have a podcast. I've got a TEDx talk there, and you can learn some more. And really, this is the modern way of leading, and it's very different than the way most businesses have run for the past 100 years, which is very much, I'm the man, you work for me, shut up, do what I tell you to do, you're getting money. Doesn't work. Give people purpose. Let them show they're awesome. Own they're awesome. Anything else? Great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paresh. This was amazing. It felt so seamless, like you were just flowing the entire time. This was so great. Students, thank you so much for joining us. It sounds like you got a lot out of it. Own your awesomeness. Like, I know you got a lot of great tips from this. Paresh is amazing. He's done TED Talks. And so the fact that he's doing us this solid and this favor of presenting for you all is such an amazing feat. So Paresh, thank you so much for this. We really enjoyed it. Super looking forward to staying in touch with you in the future.
Absolutely.
He left you his email, so take full advantage of that. Blow up his inbox. Use him as a contact, use him as a network. He's definitely happy to help you all.
Do the networking and just be helpful and be like, show up. I'm telling you, people, there's something that has changed in the past 3 or 4 years where people have become really lazy about doing the polite thing, the courteous thing, the follow-up thing, the research. I've had people come to interviews who don't know anything about my company. I'm like, are you kidding me? So if you are one of those who really gets it, you're going to stand apart because the standard's kind of low actually right now. Okay, so best of luck to all of you. It's not luck. Own your awesome and step out of your fear and get out to the waves and rock it in your career. And I'm here for you and for the fulfillment fund. You guys are doing great work, and love you all. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Paresh. Thank you so much. Students, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the webinar. See you all at the next sessions. Paresh, thank you once again. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.